What is up, guys? In today's video we got a brand new Fortnite update. This is the first major update of season 4 and it is a pretty large one. We have new items coming to the game, we have some items being vaulted, and we also have several map changes. So as far as Fortnite updates go, this update has pretty much everything. As always, if you guys do enjoy the video, find it helpful or informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to more, and comment down below letting me know what you think of this update and what you're most excited about. So for starters, the Boogie Bombs and the DMR have been vaulted. We knew Boogie Bombs were going to be vaulted in this update for some time because the Fortnite status account posted about it. But the DMR also getting vaulted was pretty surprising. But the main reason why they did that is because they added the new Cobra DMR, which we'll get to in a bit. Grapple gloves were also unvaulted in this update, but it's only for 2 weeks or so, which is odd. Epic specifically mentioned in the patch notes that it's only until the next update, which comes on October 18th for Fortnitemares. And maybe then we'll get the Gwen gloves, like the Gwen Stacy spider gloves. If you guys don't know, the grapple gloves started out as a Spider-Man web slinger mythic, and then after the Spider-Man season ended, people really wanted them back, so we ended up getting the grapple gloves in season 3, and it seems like we might be getting the Gwen gloves in the next update, which are basically the grapple gloves, but they have 80 uses instead of 30, and with the grapple gloves being unvaulted, there aren't toolboxes anymore, you just get them from regular looting, so chests, floor loot, etc. The Cobra DMR was added, and as you'll see on screen now, this is a more like close to medium range DMR, and it has a much higher fire rate, a larger mag size. It doesn't hit quite as hard, but that higher fire rate makes up for it. And it's kind of strange to me that they vaulted the main DMR for this Cobra DMR, because even though they're both DMRs, I feel like they're still very different weapons. You know, the DMR we had previously was very geared towards long range. The scope was really zoomed in, it hit really hard, it had a really slow fire rate. It wasn't that good at like close medium range, whereas the Cobra DMR is meant to be a little bit more snappy, it's less zoomed in, it has a higher fire rate. So while they're both DMRs, I feel like they seem to be very different weapons, so I don't think having both in the loot pool at the same time would have been a problem at all. Even though some people would maybe complain because they both have the word DMR in it. But I feel like they're very different weapons and they're going to be used in very different types of fights. Hollow chests were also added in this update, which are chests that you can open with keys. And one interesting thing is that the loot, it appears as a hologram above the chest, so you know what you're getting before you spend your keys on it, which is pretty cool. I think it would suck to spend your keys on something and then just get something that you don't want at all. Like if the charge SMG was in the game, I'm sure a lot of people would be complaining about getting the charge or whatever weapon they find undesirable from these chests. But you know what it is before you open it, and they appear on the map after the first storm phase, and they just have a lock symbol on the map just like Vault. So if you are in need of loot for whatever reason, you need heals, you need a better rarity weapon, maybe rotating to where these hollow chests are and checking them out could be a good play to make. It's going to be tough though, because there might be other people trying to do the same thing, so you might have to fight over it. But I'm interested to see how these play out, and I feel like, you know, this is a really good change. I really like the vaults they added in this season, but for the most part, once you're like mid to late game, there's not any more vaults to open, and so you're just kind of accumulating keys for no reason. And oftentimes when you open the vault, you'll get keys back from the vault. So this is like a way for you to spend your keys more mid-game, more in-game, and still get loot and value out of those keys, which is pretty dope. I think this is a great change. Now, for map changes, there was actually quite a bit in this update, which are personally my favorite aspects of Fortnite updates. So there was a new mansion that was added where Shifty was, and some people think this might actually be a Stranger Things collab. I'll let the video play on screen showing the mansion now, but it's mainly like a Halloween themed, like haunted house style mansion, and it's at Shifty Shafts where the mines were. Initially when I read this, I was pretty sad because Shifty Shafts is probably my favorite location on the chapter 3 map, but I like landing Shifty Mountain, and it seems like Shifty Mountain was untouched and that this mansion is just going to be replacing the mine shaft portion of Shifty, which I feel like was always the weaker part of it anyway. So this should be a cool change. And like I said, some people think this might be a Stranger Things collab because there's a grandfather clock in there. I don't really know much about Stranger Things. I've only seen the first season, and this character that they're referring to wasn't in that season. It was later down the line. So I've seen people saying they think this is going to be a Stranger Things club. I've also seen people saying that's a stretch and that there's no way it's a Stranger Things club. But I just don't know about enough about the show or the setting to really like comment on that. But I know a lot of people have wanted the Stranger Things items to return, and there's a lot of people who love that show. So it would be cool if we got another Stranger Things club. The blimp out from Rave Cave has moved to like outside where Shifty is, which is pretty interesting. And then the No Sweat building from Tilted moved to Coney, which we already know was going to happen because of previous leaks. And the pirate ship from Lagoon moved to outside Rocky. And once again, we knew about the No Sweat building and the pirate ship because of an artist posted like some concept art they had made on their portfolio or whatever. So we knew those two changes were going to happen, but the blimp moving to outside where Shifty is pretty interesting, and I think this is the first time they've had the blimp move across the map. When we had them in Season 2, they just stayed stationary until they crashed. Like, they didn't really move around the map or traverse the map, so this blimp moving around the map is pretty interesting. There's also a new tornado outside Rocky Reels, so there was the original tornado in Sanctuary, and that one is still there. Nothing has changed with it, but there's now a second chrome tornado outside Rocky Reels, and I assume like the Sanctuary one, this one is just going to stay there. And we also know a tornado is going to be near Greasy at one point in time because of leaks, or not even leaks. It was shown in the trailer for this season at the start. There was like a glimpse of like chromed Greasy Grove, and there was a chrome tornado there as well. So a lot of map changes and a lot of like mobility themed map changes, because I believe the pirate ship has a balloon on it, the No Sweat building has a balloon on it, and then you can obviously use the blimp for mobility, and you can also use the tornado for mobility. So these structures moving and appearing around the map changes some of the mobility that you have with like the ability to travel using wind or whatever. You can like deploy your glider on them. So I think it's a good change. Might kind of make some of these areas chaotic. I don't know how Coney is going to play with the No Sweat building there. I feel like that's going to add a lot of verticality to the POI that wasn't there previously. But overall, I'm a fan of map changes. I feel like it's usually my favorite aspect of Fortnite updates are the map changes, because like when they add a new weapon or a new item, it can be really hit or miss whether or not you're actually going to use it. You know, sometimes we get really good items, and sometimes we get items like the Charge SMG, which are just kind of there to like oversaturate the loot pool, it seems. But like map changes, almost no matter what, changes how the game plays. Even if you don't land at them at those areas, you're gonna have to rotate through them from time to time. You might have a game end there from time to time. So changing up the map, I feel like changes up Fortnite a decent amount, regardless of what items that you enjoy using in game. So I'm really happy that we've gotten a lot of map changes this season already, and it seems like we're gonna be getting many more as the season goes on, because we haven't even gotten to Fortnitemares yet, and usually they kind of go all out for Fortnitemares. The final thing that was in this update is going to be the super styles for the battle pass skins. I'll have them on screen now. These are the styles that you get for like leveling up to level 200 or whatever. And I think they're pretty disappointing. I think the Gwen styles are pretty good. That middle one especially, I think is quite good. I could see myself using that. But the rest of these styles aren't that great in my opinion, but that's not the biggest deal to me. Everyone always kind of gets like bent out of shape when the battle pass isn't the best, or when the super styles in the battle pass aren't the best, but that's just not really why I play the game. If they're cool, they're cool. If they're not, I don't really care that much. I'm going to play the game regardless. But for some people who like need that extra like motivating factor to play the game, these super styles kind of being like what we've seen in the past, where they just kind of change up the color of the skin a bit, it could be pretty disappointing. But that is going to be it in today's update. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I think this is a pretty wild update. We got a pretty significant meta shift with boogie bombs being unvaulted in the new Cobra DMR. I think that is going to change zero build a lot. Grapple gloves are a fan favorite item. It's nice to see them return. The hollow chests are great. And then, like I've said many times in this video, I think the more map changes, the better usually. And we got a good amount of map changes in this update, so I am pretty happy. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.